Hi Dina, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm good. How was your week?
It was okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
I'm
was
still kind of lonely and I'm still upset. I
upset?
mean, that's why I'm here again.
How was work? How was
Okay, well, work from like a working aspect was fine because I know I'm the smartest and the brightest in the group, so
yes.
my work is more, above average and is stellar compared to everyone else's. But I still didn't get invited out once to go out with the group to dinner or for drinks.
So nothing exciting happened this week?
No.
Or weekend? Nothing?
No, I watched Netflix all day in bed. I started watching this show called Nashville.
That's good. That's good.
It's about Nashville, like country singers. That's where I'm from.
Anything exciting with Walter, your husband?
No, we're not. We're
Is
still.
he busy?
He's kind of busy. I mean, he works a lot, but he doesn't work like too much. So we still kind of spend time together.
Yes.
We're still just at this point where I don't know if he like loves me that much anymore.
So you feel the same like last week that you came here?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really talk like specifically anymore. I didn't really give him details of coming here because I kind of want to like figure out what's wrong with me, what's wrong with other people that I'm with.
Okay.
To move forward.
So I'm glad that you're here, and let's talk about some stuff. Let's go back to your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? You told me that you were the only child in your family,
Yeah, I'm
right?
an only child.
And how did you feel about that? Not now, but how did you feel then, back then?
I loved it. I mean, because my parents always did things with me. They always played with me, and what I wanted for dinner, we got to eat. And if there was another child around, we would have had to think about what they were like wanting for dinner, or what they wanted to do during the day, or where they wanted to go on the weekend. So I got to do what I wanted, and got to do it with both my parents. So they were always really good about kind of, not like in a spoiled way, but just always making sure like I was happy, I had what I wanted, I was content, and like if I ever did something really good, we always had like a huge celebration, or we always did something really fun, and so I liked being an only child.
That's good. Can you tell me more about your parents?
Yes, my parents are still married, and I still talk to them. They still love me. And
Do you have a very close relationship with them?
yes. Yeah, my dad he owns an interior design company.
Interesting.
So he works with interior designers all around the world and like does big collaborations with them for big projects. And my mom used to work, and then she stayed home and raised me, so I was always with my mom. So
So if you had to choose one of them, with who are you more connected with? It's a tough decision.
probably my mom, only because I was home with her all the time.
Yes.
And so like whenever I brought home, like I remember back in like second and third grade, we used to do spelling tests at school. Like she was always, if I did really well on a spelling test, was always right there to like take me out for ice cream, or like take me out shopping if I did well. So when I was doing well, like we were really close. But if I like had a little screw up or didn't do very well, then we weren't very close for like a week or so.
Okay. So, so you had a lot of criticism from your parents if you did something bad, like.
Only if I did something bad. But if I did something.
Can you give me a small example?
Well, I was a gymnast growing up, and I was like, the best on my team. Like there was no competition. And there, like for example, there was one competition and I fell off the balance beam, and so my parents grounded me. This was back in high school. My parents grounded me from going to the homecoming dance that we had at our school, and to the football game that was like that week too, because I fell off the beam. But then the next competition, I didn't fall off the beam, So I got to go to like both football games that week and got to hang out with all my friends. Like I got to do whatever I wanted and
That's good.
hung out with them. They took me shopping.
So you had like a love-hate relationship with your, kind of, with your
I
parents?
wouldn't say it was love-hate because I was the only child, so I'm still an only child.
Yes.
So like all the attention was on me, which I loved.
Yes. And you still love?
Yes.
Okay.
So that means I get all the goodies.
Can you tell me about your school years? Like, anything that you remember, like most from your middle school to high school? Like friends? Did you have any close friends? Any good memories? Or bad?
Yeah, I'll have to think about it for a second.
Yeah, take your time. You can take your time. It's okay.
So I remember starting off like in kindergarten. I was a very good reader. So we never had any problems reading or doing anything. So my parents were always like very happy for me. I always got to go shopping with my mom after school. It was always like really good things because I was at the top of my class because I was smarter than everyone. And I was in Girl Scouts, so I think I had a lot of friends because I was always hanging out with like my Girl Scout troop and we sold Girl Scout cookies together.
Yes.
Except I never sold the most Girl Scout cookies in my troop. There was always one girl that beat me every year. Every year.
So.
But she's still not better than me, I'm better than her.
I
And
agree.
she's probably not doing as well in life as I am. And she's probably not as happy as me, even though I'm not happy right now. And then, so I went to a really small private school, and then middle school's kind of the same. Like I was the head of our clique. It was called the Triple C Double SX, and I was that was the name of our group.
It's cute.
Yeah, and I was the leader of our group because, why wouldn't you want me to be the leader of a group? So yeah, all through middle school I hung out with them. Everybody looked up to me. I was in the cheerleading team. I did gymnastics. So everybody just wanted to be like me and wanted to do things with me. And high school I went to a much bigger school. I went from a private school to public school.
And how did that work? It was a difficult transition to another.
It wasn't that difficult of a transition because I feel like everybody still wanted to be around me.
You felt the same?
Yeah, I felt the same. It was just a lot more people. So I went from only having a small group of people that wanted to always be with me to a big group. And I did a ton of sports in high school too. I did cross country, swimming, diving, and gymnastics.
So going to a crowded place, a more crowded place, made you not having the same recognition that you had back to the other school? Yes.
Well, I think it's because people didn't know me as well. The people that knew me, knew me from one sport that I did, or one club. They didn't, in my middle school, everybody knew me for everything I did, and then in high school, people only knew me for one thing, and it was, they knew me from whatever they did with me.
And what was your first reaction when you felt that you don't have the same recognition for what you're doing? How did you feel?
I try not to let it bother me because I know that, deep down everybody still wants to be like me and they still want to be with me. So it really, I try not to let it bother me that much.
Okay.
I just had to get used to not having so many people following me around all the time.
So when you went to the other school, did you remember yourself going home and thinking about in a negative way about stuff? Did you ever have bad thoughts about it, or something that bothered you inside and just you didn't share it with anyone?
I mean, I don't really know of anything in particular, but I didn't have anybody to share with. I didn't have anybody that was like, that I was that close with. I mean, I had people that like I was friends with because, you know, they wanted to be like me, so I felt like bad for them, so I let them hang out with me so they could, you know, like be more like me and do the things that I did. But I didn't really have anyone to like talk to.
Okay, so
Except, like, besides my mom, but when I went to high school, she started working again, so I didn't see her as much.
okay, so from what I understand now is that during your teenage years you didn't have a person, a close person, other than your parents, and a person who you could share something that you had inside you, and that maybe affected you. Like, did you ever feel that you had like a low self-esteem inside you that you tried to hide it?
I never thought about it like that. I mean, I always thought that people just wanted to be like me, so I was always like letting myself be on top of everybody so that they could be, to like make them happy or not to make me happier. I thought I was doing them a favor, not trying to make myself feel better.
Okay. And one last question about your childhood. Do you remember yourself admiring another person, like a teacher, a coach, a counselor, anyone?
So I know I already told you that I did gymnastics growing up, and my gymnastics coach Natalia was from Russia, and she was a really good coach. I mean, she like coached me almost like all 13 years I did gymnastics, so she, you know,
A lot of years.
yeah. So I mean, she like trains me and helps me like learn everything that I was able to do. So I think I kind of like looked up to her, but she was also kind of mean to me at times. That's okay. Like if I like tripped or like didn't do something like that well, or like got like, you know, like hurt my hand or like did something, then she would call me like chuchumakaruchu or call me fat or.
And how did you feel about these? How did you feel about this criticism?
I just tried to, like, I would just put a normal face on and not let her think that it would bother me, because then I would look weak to her, and I don't want to look weak because.
You don't want to look weak. Okay.
No, I'm Dina, and I'm not weak.
You're not.
But sometimes I cried in the bathroom.
Okay. Can we go to your current situation that you're dealing with now, or you want to talk more about your childhood? It's your choice, and that's why you're here.
We can maybe talk a little bit more about my childhood.
Okay. So you mentioned that you kept a lot of feelings inside you. Did you ever find a way to share this with your parents, that you're dealing with criticism at school, or did you ever find a way to share this, or you just kept it?
I just kind of kept it because my mom and I were really close, and she was really good at pushing me because she was a gymnast. Like when she grew up too, especially so. Like she was always really good about making sure that I was like not only just good at school, but I was also like one of the best at gymnastics.
Okay.
So she always kind of like had those expectations for me. So I was close to her, so I didn't want to like let her down to upset her, because when I upset my parents, they, you know, I was usually criticized or punished, and I didn't like that. So I always wanted to make sure that I was like doing my absolute best and being the absolute best, so that I like would like praise me and like take me out, and like I would get like a lot of like surprises and treats and goodies like when I was doing really well. So like my mom just made sure that like I'd wake up every morning, like go to school, go to cross country, go to gymnastics, go home at 9 o'clock, like eat dinner, do homework, go to bed.
It's a busy schedule.